Never gonna die!
Alright, what's cracking, everybody, and welcome back to another reaction video. Today we are checking out another video from The Score. This video is called The Identical Twins Who Conquered Halo. If you are a fan of Halo Esports, I'm sure you already know what this is going to be in reference to. In fact, the suggested videos kind of spoils it a little bit. But yeah, if you want to check out the original video without my reaction, the link is in the description. As always, go check that out, as well as all my stuff is all linked down there. Follow me on Twitter, join the Discord, check out the podcast, all that stuff. Get after me. All right, go ahead and get into it. Without further ado, get into it.
When it comes to the world of competitive Halo, two twin brothers will never be forgotten. Halo's successful yet turbulent esports scene spanned the early 2000s, and while it's mostly forgotten now, some people still remember the hype.
For now.
It is time to find out who is VHS and who is Beta.
Jesus.
And Tom and Dan Ryan,
That
better
shit ain't a
known as
throwback.
the Ogre Twins, were the kings of Halo hype.
Many believe the real reason for Final Boss's success, these guys, the Ogre Twins, the 20-year-old pair from
Be fair to say.
Pickerington, Ohio, have been dominating the MLG for 3 years now, and as the wins pile up, so too grows the Ogre legend.
They weren't just talented.
I'm pretty sure that
They were
clip, by the way, that little soundbite that just played, was from the USA Network show that I was telling you all about in the last video, where they did like the TV episodes for each of the tournaments, which I still think we should check out.
undisputed best at competitive Halo.
It really does feel like a lifetime ago. Like, some of those tournaments are just blacked out from my memory. There's too many of them.
Growing up in Pickerington, Ohio, Tom and Dan discovered Halo the way a lot of kids at the time did, on a friend's couch playing split screen.
We heard about Halo through
Look at
a
Tudor,
friend
man.
named Chris Puckett and
Yeah,
a couple
I'm
of other
blocking the
guys on
lower
our school
third.
bus, our high school bus.
Shout out Chris Puckett.
And, you know, he said it was way better than, you know, James Bond GoldenEye 007. It's the best shooter, better than Perfect Dark, and we gotta come over and try it. And we were always a Nintendo family, so we didn't have an Xbox. You know, after we went over there for a few weeks, we quickly surpassed his older brother, and then you know, Puckett was still pretty good throughout all of Halo 1, but we passed him up pretty quick as well.
Tom and Dan took to Halo immediately, and within a few months, the identical teenage twins weren't just dumpstering the friends who introduced them to the game, but also university students at local tournaments a few hours away.
Yeah, we were noticeably the best in our group of friends and locally, but we heard about a small tournament at Ohio University. It was like 2 hours away, through some of our older brother's friends who were going there at the time, and it was just being held by one of like the associations there. And we went there, and there was like 25 teams or something of just all college students, and then us. And that was basically when we started to realize like how good we actually were.
Playing on Team Shoot to Kill, the duo continued to gain competitive experience at tournaments organized by the fans, including the highly ambitious Halo 50K series.
You're so busy listening to this running riot. Pay attention.
Red team.
Thank you, Chance. That's the only way you'll die.
For the most part, original Halo tournaments revolved around three
Old ass
competitive
footage, bro.
forms: 4v4, 2v2, and free-for-all. Tom
So
and Dan were
fascinating to look
dominant
back
at
on.
all three, especially 2v2, though it wasn't considered to be as important at the time. They were so dominant,
Still
in fact,
isn't.
that they never lost a single 2v2 match while playing together. Not a single one.
We went to, you know, our first handful of tournaments together and dominated everybody. And then after that, obviously we were really good friends with our 4v4 teammates. So we would split up and one of us would team with each of them. And I would say like 90% of the time we were meeting in the finals versus each other's teams. And so it was usually still getting first and second.
Bro,
I think there was one
they
or two
were
times when
literally so
one of our
fucking
two
good
teams
together,
got,
the
like,
Ogre
third,
Twins,
fourth,
that
but
they
I
had
think
to
the
split
other
up.
always won the tournament. So
You can make
'Cause it
all
was
the
too
twin
boring.
telepathy jokes you want, but each brother knew how the other played to a T.
It's wild, bro.
Tom was looser, fragging around the map and making decisions on the fly. And while Dan's capacity for stylish play was just as high as his brother's, he was more calculated. He had the ability to read and understand his opponent's moves before they even made them. Two disparate styles that, when put together, were lethal.
we always did say, like, when people asked us, like, it really was like I always knew what he was thinking or what he was going to do, but I think that's just growing up, being twins, always doing everything together. We just have very similar mindset on things, but at the same time, I don't know, we always knew what each other were doing, but our playstyles were actually quite different.
Not only were they mechanically incredible, but they knew the game better than almost anyone. And they were great at finding creative solutions to problems that most of the field didn't even understand.
Anyways, we ended up getting third, but in the 2 versus 2 competition there, without timers, we were beating the guys on the dream team in the finals. I think it was like 50-27 or something. So they were. We were on the strategy of like internally we knew it was coming up soon, just counting in our heads. So we would just like hang out near the power-ups when they were coming up. But then when we saw them, they had like a big old desk clock sitting on top of their table. And as soon as we saw that, we went home and we found some digital stopwatches and we snipped off the bands. You know, they were like $5 or $10. Snipped off the bands and or they were watches, but they had the stopwatch feature. And we super glued it on the center of our controller so that we would have one right under our nose the entire game that we could start really easily with our thumb right as the game's starting.
After gaining momentum at smaller tournaments, the Ogre Twins and
That is old school shit. And bro, if you go back and look at some of those like older Halo tournaments, or not even Halo even, but motherfuckers would have like stopwatches like taped to clipboards and shit, just like the nerdiest shit that you've ever seen, just like that, bro. That is wild to think about these days, bro. These days the weapon pad literally counts down for you and tells you when the shit was coming up, but back then motherfuckers were gluing stopwatches to their controllers. That is
2004
that is wild,
MLG
son.
season, ready to dominate. And damn did they ever.
Shout out the MLG girls.
Killing spree.
Why am I? We're watching boarding action gameplay.
But at MLG Chicago, the Twins ran headfirst into Team Free-For-All, led by the dynamic duo
Classic
of
competitive
Walshy
Halo
and
1,
Killer.
man.
And a month later, Walshy and Killer N beat them again. So, what do you do when a contender challenges you for the
Damn,
top
look at
spot
that
in your
picture.
sport?
Walsh looks
Well,
crazy,
you
bro.
can't beat them, join them. With a new roster and a new name in Team Domination, the Ogres went on to fulfill their team name's promise.
We all worked together so well. It was this
Hey,
great
look at
team
Walsh.
of everyone could do everything, and we just had 4 of the most talented players, you know, throughout some of those years, and just dominated.
Between 2005 and 2007, the Ogre Twins and Walshy won 24 of the 30 tournaments they entered, placed second at the other 6, and picked up 2 national championships. Their dominance was legendary.
Oh my god, Ogre 2, we don't understand anything. We know you guys are going crazy over that.
What?
The only team to truly challenge their reign was Team Carbon, who defeated them in the finals of MLG Orlando 2006
Look at Gandhi, bro.
and kickstarted one of the scene's most legendary rivalries.
How many people can say before they turn 20, I'm the national champions at something? These guys can't. Congratulations once again to Carbon, everybody.
The Ogre Twins duked it out with Team Carbon throughout the year, culminating in another epic showdown at the National Championships in Las Vegas in 2007.
Ogre 1, this is going to be dangerous for Carbon.
Ogre 1 moving the flat Carbine side, gets it all the way to his base. There's no one
There's
from
strong
Carbon
side.
in position to make
Keeping
the
it
return.
alive.
And here we go. Strong side's moving in with the flat
Game
ball.
over, baby.
And Final Boss takes the game.
That was a huge victory for us because it was also the last Halo 2 tournament. And, you know, there had been a couple teams that had butted heads with us or got the better of us, you know, especially Carbon in the previous year where they won 3 events in a row, including the 2006 National Championship. So that following year, with it being the very last tournament, you know, the height of competitive Halo
bro.
and Halo 2, with us, you know,
Was
wanting
everybody
to, like,
wants to
cement
be
our
the
legacy
team
and
that
go
wins the
out
last
without
event?
a doubt, us being like the #1 team, because you know, if someone else wins the last tournament. It's a very valid argument to say, like, all right, well, who's better? Like,
You want to be known as
the
the best
win
team
very
in the
last
game.
and biggest event.
Running parallel to the Ogre Twins' success was the growing popularity of Halo as an esport. Bigger and bigger sponsors like Stride Gum and Boost Mobile were pouring money into the scene.
And Dr.
And
Pepper,
Italian deal
man.
between MLG and the USA Network provided an unprecedented amount of legitimacy to the scene.
These fierce competitors will be battling for over $250,000
What I
in
was talking
cash
about.
prizes, not to mention the ultimate prize in gaming today, the Boost Mobile MLG Pro Circuit National Championship.
Now, of course, the North American esports scene wasn't as big in the early 2000s as it is today, but still, the Ogre Twins, who started down this path because they loved Halo, were able to make a living playing video games.
Yeah, we were just entirely in it for fun, at least for the first, like, Halo 1 and Halo 2, for the first, like, 3 or 4 years. And then, Halo 3 was kind of the first game where, for Dan and I at least, it was, we didn't like the game as much. For us, it felt like kind of a dumbed-down version of Halo 2. But obviously, we were on top teams and able to make a lot of money off of it. So I continue to pursue it as mostly as a career. Obviously, still better than working a normal job. We love playing and competing. I just didn't love the game as much.
But while Halo 1 and 2 were the Ogre Twins' peak, Halo 3 was the end of their reign. First, Final Boss dropped fan favorite Walshy. Then, in 2009, after declining enthusiasm and subpar performances, Neighbor and Strongside left the team, while Dan retired from competitive Halo entirely and moved to Australia.
He basically met a girl online and wanted to move over there, and he didn't like playing and competing anymore anyways in Halo 3, so it was sort of just, it made sense to him. And I remember I was kind of just like, man, now I gotta find 3 teammates instead of 2, it's like so much harder.
Tom didn't have much left. His teammates were gone, and with them went his trophies, his wins, and most importantly, his brother. So it's not hard to see why the next year saw Tom falling out of touch with the game he used to love.
So basically it was like I had to find teammates, and my connections with other top players weren't as strong as they probably should have been, just because I never saw a time when Dan's quitting and I'm still wanting to play, and I'm like, I need multiple teammates. And yeah, it was mostly just like we didn't have to make a roster change for so long that, what do I do now?
After some soul searching and roster rebuilding, which included teaming up with I Got Your Pistola, a legendary Halo player in his own right, Tom came into the 2010 season rejuvenated and capped off the year with another national championship win.
And it is officially over. Final Boss.
I'm gonna say that wasn't the end.
Celebrating Final Boss year 2010 MLG
Cougar
National
won
Champions.
by himself for like years,
Tom's
bro.
success carried over to 2011 when he put together one of the greatest rosters to ever play Halo, the God Squad.
Right now, just a complete map control dominance we're seeing here from Instinct.
And check out the beatdown as Instinct is going to put in flag number 1. They actually have to wait for a quick return, but that one's not going to be a problem. Ogre 2, the winningest player of all time, is going to put this one in. And Lunchbox so far doing a great job of using the evade to get around the map, but he was the one who sparked that objective play.
Tom won his 5th national championship in 2011, but the Halo scene was declining. He played the only MLG Halo 4 tournament in 2012 before stepping back from the game and finishing his career.
There was a lot of players that didn't play Halo 4 competitively. There was just some small grassroots tournaments for that, but I went back and finished my college degree that year. I went back full-time finally. I had been nipping away at it for like 6 or 7 years, just part-time, and went back full-time for like a year and a half and finish up my bachelor's degree.
By May 2016, Ogre 2 announced his competitive retirement from Halo after stints with Team Envious and Denial Esports for Halo 5. After retiring, Tom coached Evil Genius's Halo squad before moving on to Team Reciprocity, first as a coach and now as the organization's manager.
Getting to be behind some of those guys and working with them in practices and stuff, and helping make play calls and stuff while you're on stage, because in Halo you can have the coaches on stage. Helping in with the comms and being on stage during some of those finals that the teams were in. It was super exciting. So I had a really good time coaching. I think I just wanted to move into more of a business aspect of esports.
Tom and Dan left behind an insane legacy. 60+ tournament wins is something few players in any game achieve. While Halo has seen better days, their reign is indisputable. Esports has changed a lot since the reign of the Ogre Twins. Literally everything is bigger now, and they may have missed that boat, but those 2 Ohio kids who fell in love with a violent space opera wouldn't trade their experiences for the world.
Thanks for watching. If you want more content like this, hit the sub button.
Another good video out of the score. But yeah, definitely fascinating to see all that old shit, man. I mean, just looking back, even just looking at some of the old footage, man, and seeing how, I don't know, just looking at like the 4-man split with the grainy ass shit and the old settings and like all the, like, we were looking at one point, we were looking at like, I don't know, snipers on boarding action or some shit in Halo 1 on like the 4-man split. Shit's just bizarre to look at and think about these days. But I hope y'all enjoyed that video. Link is going to be in the description for the original video if you want to go check it out without my reaction. Obviously, the Ogres are still around in some capacity. I think Ogre 1 just streams a little bit, and Ogre 2 obviously owns the Mutineers, the COD team. So I don't know if like they're gonna, like, Tuger was obviously a coach up until the end of Halo 5. I assume he's probably done with all that. I don't know if he's even allowed to be involved anymore with his Call of Duty requirements and stuff. But yeah, legendary Halo players, probably the most legendary duo of all time, and probably up there as one of the most legendary duos in all of gaming. But yeah, that's going to do it for me today. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Like I said, links are also in the description for all of my socials. Remember to get after me. Follow me on Twitter. Join the Discord. Check out the podcast. All that stuff. Remember to get after me in the comments. I'm always curious about how y'all are doing. I love y'all, and I hope y'all are doing well, and the vibes are great. And if they're not, I hope it turns around. I'm always hoping nothing but the best for y'all. But yeah, with that said, appreciate y'all watching. Much love, much respect, as always.